Alright, and now moving from West to East, we're going to be talking Eastern Conference happenings and matchups. And I think, as with any conversation concerning the Eastern Conference right now, we have to talk about injuries. And there were two big injuries over the weekend, and those were the injuries to Derrick Rose and Imam Shumpert. So, Derrick Rose injury, bad ACL, he's done for the playoffs. What does this mean for Chicago going forward?
Well, I don't think they're gonna give Miami Heat the run everybody thought they were gonna give them. I still expect them to beat Philly because they're a good team. They won games without Derrick Rose. They had the best record in the league without Rose being there for half the season. But I think it takes a lot out of the Bulls. I mean, this was their leader, their reigning MVP, and just like that, they're out of it. So I don't know. It's horrible for NBA fans to see a great player go out because it takes some of the fun out of the playoffs when you don't have the best players in the league in them anymore.
Of course, and I think Isaac mentioned it. The Bulls have been very good without Derrick Rose. They've won basketball games. You know, they've had the best record in the Eastern Conference without Rose being out for the majority of the season. So, yeah, this is a team capable of winning without him. The question is whether they can make a deep playoff run without him, and it's going to be very interesting to see. I think they can beat Philly.
Yeah.
But yeah, a potential matchup with Miami would be interesting because Chicago still has very good defense, and LeBron and the Heat have very good defense too. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that.
Yeah, none of that, but the Bulls actually beat Miami without Rose in the lineup, so they can do it. But I don't know. I think it's going to be hard for them to beat Miami 4 times out of 7 without Derrick Rose. Another thing is people can't hate on Thibodeau for having Rose out there because I know people were criticizing Thibodeau. Why is Rose still on the court? They're up by 12 with a minute and 22 seconds. The game was over. People gotta understand that Derrick Rose was out for almost half the season due to injuries, so he wasn't in game shape. So he had to play through. He had to play to get in shape and to get the rhythm and chemistry back with his teammates. And that's what happened. And it wasn't like Rose got hit by somebody or somebody cut the legs underneath him or nothing. He just did a regular jump stop that he always does, and it just gave out on him.
Well, I mean, I don't think people that put some blame on Thibodeau are completely off base. Thibodeau should have been cognizant of the fact that Rose had been out with injury. Wasn't at 100%. I really don't think he was at 100% at any point this season.
No.
So maybe that should have been a reason why he should have been out.
But then look what happened with the Clippers in the Memphis game, and you could see why coaches don't want to just take the foot off the gas, so to speak. I mean, they're up by 12, but you don't want Philly to go on a run to end the game and they feel good about themselves going into game 2.
That's true.
You kind of see why he kind of played it. So it's just unfortunate. All he did was a regular jump stop that Derrick Rose has done plenty of times in the NBA. It's just unfortunate that his ACL just gave out on him.
Well, yeah, and with Rose being as injury prone as he has been the entire season, if this injury was going to happen eventually, I think just too much wear on that body. I think this season this gives him the opportunity to just rest, hopefully get his body back together, heal. Maybe he'll be back to 100% next season without time being missed.
Yeah, well, this is another blow for the Summer team, the Summer Olympic team, because now Dwight Howard's out of it, and now Derrick Rose is out of that team too. So
thinning roster there. And another injury that maybe doesn't have as much significance, but does to the Knicks at least, is the Imam Shumpert injury, whose knee also gave out in yesterday's game. He was the main line of defense against Dwayne Wade. And now he's out for the rest of the playoffs. So what does this do for the Knicks and their hopes of beating Miami?
Well, it just puts more pressure on Carmelo Anthony to step up and Amari because they got to pick up the slack because the Imam Shumpert was supposed to guard Wade, as you said. So now everybody else on that team has to just step up their game and play team defense because as much as a beast, Tyson Chandler is on the defensive end, he can't do it on his own. So he's going to need the rest of the guys like Landry Fields and everybody else to step up and help Carmelo and Amari to beat this Heat team.
Yeah, and it's also going to be interesting to see how Landry Fields reacts to being put in the starting lineup. He's played there before to relatively spotty results. So if he can maybe get his offensive game going. He's not that bad of a defender, to be honest with you. Is a step down from Shumpert, though. But if he can give them, something offensively, maybe the loss won't affect them as badly as it normally would. So Landry Fields, I would look to as possibly having a good series, a good result coming out of this injury.
Yeah.
But definite blow to the Knicks' hopes of being the Heat. Yeah, and so I guess another sort of injury / missing time thing is Rajon Rondo. A very awkward, I guess, confrontation with the refs.
He tripped. Or so he says.
Chest bump. Forgot it happened. I don't know. Anyway, Rondo got a little too emotional.
Yeah.
And is now going to miss Game 2 of their playoff series. So, Atlanta already has a 1-game jump on the Celtics. What does a Rondo injury do to Boston perhaps beating Atlanta?
Well, I don't think it makes that big of an impact, though, because I think, first of all, you can't trust Atlanta. So I don't trust Joe Johnson, and he's overpaid, by the way, if you didn't know. But Joe Johnson's overpaid. I don't trust Josh Smith either. And even if Boston loses Game 2 in Atlanta, it doesn't really mean anything, because the Celtics could go back home and win Game 3 and 4 and tie the series up and then make it a best of 3. So it's not that big of a deal, only because I don't trust Atlanta. If I would have trusted Atlanta, it would have been a bigger deal, but I don't trust Atlanta. So I still think the Celtics are very much in it, and it wouldn't be surprising me if Boston wins Game 2 without Rajon Rondo.
I have Atlanta beating the Celtics. I have them beating Boston at Atlanta with Rondo on the roster, but I guess this hurts the Celtics' chances more. The Celtics have been kind of depleted as far as the roster is concerned, with Allen being out. Yeah. Avery Bradley stepped into the role quite adequately, but I don't know what type of roster moves you're gonna have to do to give them a point guard or a shooting guard, because they're kind of thin at the guard position. So it'll be interesting to see how the Celtics move around the roster and accommodate the loss to Rondo.
Yeah, but you agree though, you can't trust Atlanta though, right?
Oh, I agree. Trust me. Never trust Atlanta.
Never
but
trust Atlanta.
Rondo is the Celtics' best player.
Yeah, but right now. They're not at home. They're still on the road. So that's the only reason why I say it's not that big of a deal.
Oh, yeah. As far as road games are concerned, you're always expected to
kind of lose.
So, hopefully, it was interesting to see Rondo only being suspended for a game, considering he's done this already before. He had an altercation with an official earlier in the season, and people thought his reputation might catch up to him, and maybe he'd be suspended a little bit more. But they were fortunate only losing for a game, and hopefully they can give the Hawks maybe a competitive game. Yeah. But momentum has to be on Atlanta's side right now. I mean, they remember almost beating Boston a few years ago in a 7-game series, and they've kind of had a rematch, so to speak, 2 years later, and they should be confident, I think, going into this series.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you mentioned about Rondo and his history, because when Ron Artest did that accidental elbow, everybody was saying that you got to look at it's okay to look at Ron Artest's history, because he's with the Malice in the Palace and other stuff that he's done, that because of what he's done in the past, it should affect the punishment he received from the league. And it's interesting to see that the league didn't kind of view it that same way for Rondo, even though, like you said, it was the second altercation he had with an official. The first one he threw a basketball at an official. This time he chest bumps an official.
Kind of a weird chest bump.
He kind of tripped, but it wasn't because he tripped. He did trip. He wasn't lying. He did trip, but it wasn't a trip where he that led him to to bump the referee. But it was just interesting to note though that I don't think the NBA took into consideration Rondo's past, but yet it did with Ron Artest.